Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly reading for the collective consciousness for January 29th through February 4th. Okay, so you know what this means, guys. New month means new monthly reading, so look out for that one as well. All right, do I have anything else to say? Yes, I do. I have to get to this on my old videos on YouTube, taking away my Calendly link. So if you found my Calendly link through one of those old YouTube videos, it's probably a dead link now. I canceled my account. So what am I trying to say? I'm not doing one-on-one readings anymore. I made an announcement on my Facebook and my Instagram that I'm not doing them anymore. I am making a decision and going in a different direction. There is my Etsy link in the description down below, which allows for audio readings. And then I also send you a picture of the spread. So I am moving from one-on-one readings over Zoom to Etsy readings, which are audio recorded. I'm doing that for all types of reasons. As you guys know, at least some of you guys out there, if you're new, welcome. But I have been dealing with a health issue that has changed me fundamentally, so I have to change the way I work and change where I want to be going and what direction I want to move in. So as far as I know, my YouTube channel is obviously going to stay. I'm definitely continuing to build up YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. Those links are down below as well. So as far as I know, I'll be staying there. Facebook, I'm trying to move away from. Too many scammers. Okay, too many scammers. It's terrible. Okay, and also other reasons, but I won't get into it. All right, guys, I know you're here for the reading, so let's begin. All pre-shuffled, no changes, so let's begin. All right, what do we need? We need truth to be told. Okay, so this is, did we recently get this? We may have recently gotten this, maybe not in this section over here, but basically this is saying truth be told, authenticity, telling the truth, speaking the truth. So I definitely do feel like some of you guys are going to be in situations this week where we're kind of faced with that, because it's almost like I'm feeling like this finality to it, or how do I say this? This type of, it's been going on for a while and you're not necessarily speaking the truth, like a situation where, you know, you haven't been your true self, you haven't been your true self, you haven't been your true self. And I definitely do feel like this week invites you to be your true self. Maybe invite is actually a strong word, because maybe it's not brave for you to speak your truth or be yourself or something along those lines, but somehow you break through it and you do start to exude that energy. So if you've been kind of feeling like you've been wearing a mask lately, it definitely does feel like the mask kind of comes off. That's what I'm getting, at least. And so we definitely need it, because it's definitely like the soul is like, no, I need to kind of be my authentic self. So if you've been kind of like holding your breath or you know, holding your tongue, you know, whatever the situation pertaining to your particular lives, whatever kind of resonates there, is kind of what Spirit is saying. So everybody will interpret it different, but that's kind of how I feel the energy kind of coming through. All right, what's action needed? We have White Witch, be the light. Okay, so this is always about being more positive. It's always about seeing the more light-hearted moments, seeing the more light in people. So action needed is we're actually taking action on that. So how do you take action on positivity? Again, could manifest a bunch of different ways for you guys. Again, we're reading for the collective, so there's a lot of you guys out there, but this could be something along the lines of, you know, finally seeing the light in a situation where you've been maybe a little bit more pessimistic, or you've been in the shadow about, or something along those, or you know, have been more like egoic towards. And I will say this, between these two, I'm already getting this feeling of, I said it already, finality. Like it's almost like I'm getting this energy of like being pushed to the brink, where it's just kind of like these things that we want to do, be authentic, be more positive, are things that we haven't necessarily been able to do, but we are getting them done this week, okay? That's what it feels like. It feels like maybe we have wanted to do in the past and we have failed, or we couldn't, or it wasn't the right timing, divine timing, something along those lines. So this is coming through with like that kind of divine timing energy where it's saying finally, you know, because I keep hearing this word finally, finally over and over again. So I'm just going to throw that out there. So that's that. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, but definitely viewing something a little bit more positively, having more lighthearted moments, having more joyful moments, in times where you haven't been able to find joy, things like that. So look out for that. Again, it's different for everybody. Issue, we have upside down, saboteur, induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Okay, so the issue is being, sabotaging, basically. So this could be, I will say this, I know this reading is about you, you know, people listen to these readings, to find out about themselves, but it almost just feels like the energy is coming from the other way. So what I mean by that is that this is, somebody might be trying to sabotage you. I know that's like so cryptic, and that's so, I don't mean to scare anybody, but like, it just feels like there's like this energy of like somebody, and it doesn't have to be like completely manipulative and, intentional, that kind of thing. And it doesn't feel like something like on a big scale, but it definitely does feel like, there's somebody or something or an organization of some kind that is not necessarily has your best interest in mind and is trying to manipulate the process. You know what's really funny? I remember from last week, there was something about us trying to manipulate something for an outcome. This almost feels like it's the same energy, but it's not so... like I said, it can be unintentional, but it definitely does feel like it could be coming from a negative place, I'll just say. So definitely watch out for that. Don't mean to scare people, but it is under the issue slot there. So just keep your eyes peeled, and watch out for any like sabotaging behavior. And if it is pertaining to us, like I said, I definitely feel like it's more people in our lives coming to us, like the energy from outwards. But it's, we might also be sabotaging ourselves. So some of you guys out there might be doing that. Okay, let's move on. So challenge, what do we got going on? Health and healing. Okay, not what I love to hear. But so we have challenges in our healing journey. I know everybody is on one at some point in their lives. Sorry, just fixing these. So I definitely do feel like we're having challenges. So to me, healing journey means moving forward. It's not always linear, as you guys know, healing journeys. So it just feels like, doing a loop, or maybe taking, a few steps back, maybe it's right because I can't speak today. Maybe, it's about like, taking 2 steps back just to go 3 steps forward, but we never think about the 3 steps forward. Guys, I can't speak. I have had insomnia all week. That's the problem. I'm so sleep deprived. Sorry. Trying my best. Doing my best. That's all I can do. But obviously, as you can see, I'm having challenges. So, and it doesn't feel huge. Like, I would be honest with you guys that it would feel huge. But again, it just feels like maybe we're going, we might feel like we're going backwards instead of going forward. Okay, what do we need to change, or what's changing? The fates. Okay, so it's basically saying like changing your destiny or changing how you fulfill your destiny. So this is really great. This is a great card for entrepreneurs, I will say, because it definitely does feel like, so if you're an entrepreneur out there or doing like kind of like your own thing or wanting to, this is really good for, like if you want to pivot basically and do something differently. It's because basically this card is saying like, this energy is saying like, you don't have to follow one path. Like, you don't have to follow one path. And now, because it's under change, it's saying that you can do a different path but get the same outcome. That's really what's going on here. So, like I'm saying, it's good for entrepreneurs. I'm getting like this feeling like if you feel like that you've been trying to do something one way, and it's not working, and you're forcing it, this is saying that change that you've been thinking about can be implemented and be successful. So, this is so good for, like I said, entrepreneurs. And again, it doesn't have to be business related or work related or anything like that. It's just, knowing that the outcome that we want is still ours, but there's just a different way about going about it. So this is also a really good card. For example, if you get rejected in some type of way this week, if you find that you are, and it'll resonate for some of you guys out there. If you get rejected this week, it's really just a redirection, but don't be so hung up on maybe never achieving the outcome, because it's not about the outcome. It's just about how you go about that. I hope that makes sense. But that's really good, especially if a lot of you guys have been frustrated in the way that you've been doing things. So basically this is saying like it's time to change the way that you've been doing things, but know the outcome will be the same, okay? Now, this doesn't feel action-oriented. This feels like it's maybe just an idea. So I don't think, entrepreneurs this week will, close up shop, just this week. I mean, it's it doesn't feel reasonable, to be honest, and it doesn't feel like that. So it just feels like the idea is being planted, okay? Okay, so the focus, we have Father Sky, trust in the unknown. Okay, so basically what I'm getting here is that we need to, as always, trust, but there's a lot of unknown kind of happening. So to focus on the things that we don't know, and not so much the trust, because it's under focus. It's kind of telling me like the things that maybe you don't have a plan for. Maybe think about alternate plans. Kind of what I was saying here with change too, a little bit. They're meshing into each other. But if there's things that are unknowns, do your best to make them known. That's like a good way to put it. So yes, trust in the unknown, but also at the same time, it doesn't hurt to, start trying to make a plan and trying to define things a little bit more. Yeah, like that's a good word. Make things a little bit more definitive if you can, but also having that detachment, right? Because of that trust. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Reflect. Okay, we have Hedonist, but we have in the shadow, pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. Okay. So what to reflect on? Okay, so how do I say this? Reflecting on your personal pleasures, indulgences. Sometimes this can mean addictions too. So reflecting on that. And so it's in the shadow. So anything that you maybe overdo, I'll say, really reflect on things that you overdo, especially if you do things for just the thrill of it. So this is really specific, but maybe it'll resonate with some of you guys out there. It's almost like I'm getting like this feeling of like adrenaline junkies. Like, just be careful if you're an adrenaline junkie, basically. It's saying and when I say be careful, I mean are you overdoing it? You need to kind of reflect on your life. What things are you doing for like a instant gratification? What things are you doing for short-term gain, basically? And so it's definitely time to reflect on that. So that's like a really good journal question for sure. Okay, responsibilities. We have choose peace. Always love this card when it comes up. So choose peace. So what I will say with this is arguments, conflicts has no place for us this week. Obviously, we should be standing up for ourselves, upholding our boundaries, different things like that. But it almost, from A Course in Miracles, if anybody follows A Course in Miracles, one of the quotes is, would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? I think I actually messed that up. If you want to be, do you want to be, guys, forgive me. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? There we go. Ding, ding. I'm feeling you want to be happy. So definitely choose peace. So pick your battles is like another way to kind of say that. So that's your responsibilities for the week. Sorry, I butchered that. Guys, forgive me. I really have had no sleep. Okay, fork in the road, money and finances. All right, so to me, this means that we have choices. Choice is always good, right? We always have a choice, but this is saying that there might be option A versus option B. So this is under money, finances, and I put career in here. So some of you guys might be getting like 2 job offers, or maybe you can go in 2 directions for your career going forward, and you're kind of confused about it. Now, the funny thing with fork in the road is that it's not giving you a direction. And to me, how I always read fork in the road, and with the energies kind of coming through with, is saying like either or. okay? It's not necessarily about, like either path will, and makes sense, right? With that change card where the fates, it's like either path will lead you to where you need to go. It's just about it's actually just about making the decision, right? And that's what it's kind of saying. And it's the same thing with money, and it's the same thing with finances, which again, they're all kind of tied in together. But if you have to make a decision this week, don't overthink it. Don't, obviously always use your intuition with it, but it's just more so about, and it's not like don't put any thought into the decision or anything like that, but it's more so like, all roads will lead to the same place, but the paths will be different, okay? So pick the one with the least resistance. So yes, you'll have to use your intuition with that, but either one will get you either way, to the outcome. Will get you to the outcome. It's basically what it's saying. So that's funny that I get 2 cards that way. Well, not funny, and no coincidences, right? We have surprise, stargazer, set your sights higher. Okay, so we have set your sights higher. So this means that seeing more of your potential, and it's under surprise. So guys, come on, we know we're the most powerful people on the planet, right? Each and every one of us, and sometimes we forget it, right? Sometimes we forget how powerful we actually are. But this is basically saying your potential is definitely going to be highlighted this week. Let's put it that way. And it's going to surprise us because, again, sometimes we forget. Okay, we have friends. We have bully. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Okay, not loving that it came under friends section here, but it's good that it's actually in the positive. It didn't come out in the shadow. So I will definitely say it feels like, yes, it does say bully, but it almost just feels like if there's somebody in your circle or friend group, or I would actually even put this in, for some reason I'm getting like work with this too. I know it says friends and we think of, our actual friends, the people that we hang out with, that kind of thing, but work blends, with our personal life. So it could count, but I'm definitely getting it might be something to do with work. So somebody that is maybe extra bossy, or, sometimes is like a bully, or maybe doesn't treat us correctly, or something along those lines. They might be eased up this week, which is great. But if not, don't forget the choose peace card. That definitely has something to do with that. So it definitely eases up, which is great. And it's definitely feeling like it's a more harmonious week in that way. Okay, we have romantic connection. We have you're seeing the situation accurately. Okay, we've had this before in romantic connection. This is really about you are seeing things correctly. You are seeing things accurately. Your perspective is your perspective, and that's that. So coming off of these cards about peace, harmonious relationships, it's saying it's very similar, and I think I said this last time, but it's very similar to like a stand your ground type card. Like there's a mountain card somewhere in here that says stand your ground. So it's very similar energy to that. So it's kind of like not backing down, but also at the same time, like not creating an argument. So there's a way to you're quote unquote right, the other person is quote unquote right, and you guys come to a conclusion that is the resolution, right? So I guess like another way I can say it is like actual good conflict resolution kind of going on here. So you're seeing it correctly, the other person is seeing it the way that they see it, so they're seeing it correctly. Both feelings are valid, but you guys come to a conclusion. So it being under romantic connection definitely does feel like our romantic partners or potential romantic partners. So it definitely does feel like good conflict resolution. You could validate yourself, your opinion, your view, your feelings, your thoughts, and at the same time have different ones from your partner and come to a conclusion. That's what it feels like. So any fights this week, I feel, are resolved in a positive way. Okay, we have flexible. Okay, so what's important? So it's important to be flexible. So something's kind of going on here. This actually, there's not too much too much more I can say, but just be as flexible as you possibly can. And by the way, that's how you get your power, right? Being flexible, being adaptable, being resilient, being resourceful, right? So it's important that we are flexible, that we're adaptable, and we're able to. And this also tells me that maybe something kind of comes out of left field going on this week. So just, be mindful of that. But other than that, I see it's pretty good, and there's not too much more to say. Health and wellness. Now I'm scared. Let's see. High Priestess, harness mystic power. Okay, I'm not scared anymore. This is a power card. Yay. Okay. So, and I was just speaking about power here, seeing our potential in the surprise. And then we have harnessing our mystic power. And our mystic power is also our feminine power. Okay. So, and it's the priestess. So it's her feminine power. So the feminine power is, there's power in being. There's power in empathy. There's power in stillness. There's power in compassion. There's power in love. There's, everything there on the feminine side of things, the feminine energy. So that makes me feel really happy under the wellness section here, because whatever type of healing journey you're going on, whether it's a divorce, whether, it's a depression journey, depression and anxiety, I don't know, any problem people are going through that has to do with wellness, don't all of our problems have to do with that, right? But we just want to be well, having trouble conceiving, like grieving, like there's so many different things that could be like going on with us, but harnessing that being is going to be really important. If you guys don't mind, and hopefully you don't, but I give like a lot of personal examples, but how I'm reading this for me is, and I was just talking to somebody about this, that there takes a lot of patience, obviously, in the healing journey. And sometimes when it's really, really at its worst, it's really only preparing us for our best, right? So the days that we feel the best, or the days that it's going well and it looks like we're moving forward and all of those things, definitely have the gratitude for it. But and whether you're up or whether you're down, like the feminine energy is going to of that being, just be still, be present, really kind of understand what's kind of going on, and not necessarily going into her masculine, which is basically like, oh, I have to get this over with, and I have to do something. Maybe, in my case, if something is happening, then so if I have insomnia, for example, and I'm going through like a really hard time again, dealing with something, instead of getting into my masculine so much, which I did, finally cave and buy a sleep aid, open all my windows when it's like, 30 degrees, because, it's better to go to sleep in a cold room. And like, instead of actually doing things, what I understand, because I've been through this like a million times already, is that when it gets bad, it does get good afterward, right? So if you're experiencing negativity, you have to experience positivity. Like it's the dark light dichotomy. So basically what's going on here is Spirit saying like, don't freak out. Like, don't freak out. You're not, quote unquote, doing anything wrong, or you did anything bad. It's just, this is where it is. Healing is linear. So sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And so it's just about holding the space for that and being in that feminine energy. That's how I interpret it. So I know that was a little long-winded and maybe didn't make sense, but if anybody is resonating with that or understands that, or even has questions, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I forgot to say in the beginning of the video, guys, that, comments down below, please, any feedback, just be kind. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Wow, I forgot, guys. I'm telling you, insomnia does crazy things to people, right? Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's pick the last one here. Overall outcome. What do we got going on? Scribe, preserving knowledge and information. Okay. So scribe is always about recording information. Sometimes it's about history. And that's what I'm kind of feeling here, where documenting is a good way to say it. Like our overall outcome is like seeing the history of things and documenting them. And so how I'm interpreting that is like, look how far we've come. Okay. So that's what I'm getting from that. So tying it really all back to everything, it's kind of like, if there's any frustrations, anything that we feel like we haven't necessarily done, because we got that finality energy up there, where it's kind of like, maybe there are these things that you've been trying to do, be more authentic, maybe around taking your mask down, being more authentic around people, maybe at work, being more positive about situations, especially ones that are challenging, for example. And then we have that, watch out for that issue there with the self-sabotage person, the self-saboteur. No, they would be saboteur. We would be the self-saboteur. But anyway, it could be either one, right? But so yeah, I think you guys understand what I mean by that. So it's basically saying, like, look at your history, look how far you've come, look how much you've accomplished. And even just for documentation purposes, like I mentioned here before with the flexibility card here, being flexible, adaptable, resilience, resourcefulness, all of these words, how do we become these things? It's by looking at our history. It's about going through things. It's about what is that quote? Let's see if I don't mess this one up. Let's see if I say it right. You survive 100% of your worst days. You have survived 100% of your worst days, which is 100% true, okay, if you think about it. So I think this is about, like, don't forget where you started and where you are, okay? Even if you don't consider yourself on a healing journey, look at your progress. Maybe you're on a personal development journey, okay, which in my opinion is kind of the same thing. But, whatever journey, you're doing, it definitely does feel like we don't give ourselves enough credit. That's the other thing, right? Because it's about documenting. Who did that? Who got, and obviously maybe some people along the way, healers, different people that have, I use the word earth angels sometimes, like people that come into our life at like really tough times. Give credit where credit is due for sure, but this is really kind of looking at like how far you've actually come. So I think that's a great way to end the reading, and that's kind of the overall outcome. So anything that we feel frustrated about, or, we feel like, oh God, I can't finally do this. It's like, and I feel like you do, we're getting to that point, there's breakthrough. And, just look back like a year ago, like where you are, that would also be, I know usually overall outcome doesn't come out with like a journal prompt, but maybe that's something good to think about this week. In addition to the other reflections that we have. Look at how far you've come just a year ago. Okay. So, all right, guys, I think that's enough. Maybe I should try to nap, but insomnia is a killer. Am I right? Okay, guys. Have a wonderful week. Watch out for the monthly reading that is hopefully on the way. Let me see. Is Thursday, February 1st? I'm not sure, but it'll be posted scheduled for during the week. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.